This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The Prime Minister says more needs to be done to stop gangs from recruiting in schools and prisons. 2 killed in separate shooting incidents. And the NIB board urges a rate hike. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, January 9th, 2022. This is 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Pamela Musgrove will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll be talking about that interview with Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and what that should mean for the Bahamas, holding the British monarch as our head of state, if anything, if it should. And we're talking Majority Rule Day as well. Plus, later in Morning Blend Business, we're talking with Village Road business owners as the work continues on the major thoroughfare and why and how they are hurting. That's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, 2 men murdered in separate shootings. This happened on Friday, pushing the country's murder count for the year to 4 so far. The first killing happened around 2:30 a.m. Police say the victim, a 34-year-old man, was at a bar on Washington Street and Robinson Road when he was approached and shot multiple times by a man wearing a ski mask. The killer fled the scene on foot into Montel Heights. The second incident happened shortly after 1 p.m. in Nassau Village. Police say the victim, a 29-year-old man, was on bail for murder and was at his home on Lawson Street when 2 men pulled up in a car, got out and shot him. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital but later died. Police later arrested a 30-year-old man from Nassau Village who was also on bail for murder in connection with the killing. Police are also investigating a shooting incident last night that has left a 69-year-old woman in the hospital. According to preliminary reports, around 8:30 p.m., officers were alerted via ShotSpotter of gunshots in the Ross Corner area. Police responded, and when they got there, they were informed that a victim was standing in the area of a business when she heard gunshots and discovered that she had been shot in the leg. The victim was taken to the hospital in a private vehicle. Her condition at this time unknown. 3 armed men broke into a home on Marshall Road, tied up the residents, stole their money, and sexually assaulted a woman in the home. Police say the burglary happened shortly after 5 a.m. yesterday morning. They say the robbers broke into the home armed with guns and tied up the occupants, a man, woman, and another relative. Police are asking for anyone with information to contact them at 502-9991 or 2, or call Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Philip Davis is saying that more needs to be done to stop gangs from recruiting new members in schools and in prisons. Davis speaking during the Royal Bahamas Police Force's annual church service at Zion Baptist Church. He says gangs are reaching into the schools to recruit younger and younger grades. He told the police that their presence on campuses has strengthened security in the schools, but he noted that they needed to stop the gangs from recruiting within prison walls as well. The Department has previously said that there needs to be a crackdown on gun smuggling from the United States to the Caribbean, including the Bahamas. He thanked police officers for their work on the front lines in the fight against crime and noted that violence in the country continues to wreck lives. The Board of the National Insurance has written to government to recommend that it move ahead with an NIB rate increase of between 0.75 percentage point and 1.5 percentage points to begin to save the fund from depletion in 2028, as was projected in the latest actuarial review completed a year ago. Prime Minister Davis said last April and again last June that a rate increase was not in the cards, but the National Guardian understands that the board has recommended that the government move quickly to effect the increase in time for January. Given that the recommendation has not been accepted, the Guardian learned that the board is hopeful that the necessary legislation be amended and that the increase be put in place for July of this year. Overseas, Brazilian authorities picking up the pieces and investigating today after thousands of ex-President Jair Bolsonaro's supporters stormed Congress, the Supreme Court, and the presidential palace, then trashed the nation's highest seats of power. The protesters were seeking military intervention to restore the far-right Bolsonaro to power or to oust the newly inaugurated leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, in scenes of chaos and destruction reminiscent of what happened in the United States on January 6, 2021, with the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Rioters donning the green and yellow of the national flag broke windows on Sunday, toppled furniture, hurled computers and printers to the ground. They punctured a massive Emiliano di Cavalcanti picture, a painting in five places, overturned the U-shaped table at which Supreme Court justices convene, and ripped a door off one of the justices' office, vandalizing an iconic statue outside the court. The monumental building's interiors were left in states of ruin as well. In a Sunday news conference late in the day, Brazil's Minister of Institutional Relations said the buildings would be inspected for evidence including fingerprints and images to hold people to account, and that the rioters apparently intended to spark similar such actions nationwide. So far, 300 people have been arrested, according to the Federal District Civil Police. In the months that followed Bolsonaro's October 30th electoral defeat, Brazil has been on edge, leery of any avenue he might pursue to cling to power. Bolsonaro has been stoking belief among his hardcore supporters that the electronic voting system was prone to fraud, though he never presented any evidence. And the United Nations conference today drumming up funds and other support to help Pakistan cope with the fallout of last summer's devastating flooding, which the UN chief called a climate disaster of monumental scale that killed more than 1,700 people in the immediate aftermath. Millions are still living near contaminated and stagnant waters. The Pakistani Prime Minister and UN Secretary General attending in person, while other world leaders such as the French President Emmanuel Macron and the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan taking part virtually, as many countries chipped in to help Pakistan pull together an estimated $16.3 billion that's needed to help the country rebuild and recover. Authorities in Pakistan hope about half of that funding will come from the international community. In sports, playing in a second game this season on the NBA G League assignment, Bahamian professional basketball player Kai Jones didn't disappoint, and fans, his team and his fans, as he had a monster night. He dropped 27 points and flirted with a double-double as he added 9 rebounds to help the Greensboro Swarm to a 118-113 victory over the Delaware Blue Coats Friday night. Jones went 12 for 15 from the field, shooting 80%. He made his only shot attempt from deep and hit both of his attempts from the charity stripe. You can read more about how he's doing in today's Guardian Sports section. Lots of action in the NFL. The late game, though, a stunner. The Green Bay Packers losing 20-16 to the Detroit Lions. Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers will miss the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks are in thanks to the Packers' loss into the playoffs, which begin this coming weekend. And from the NBA, Lovie Smith fought until the bitter end to help the Houston Texans to win. Oh, that's also from the NFL, rather. To help win the finale of a dismal season with his fate likely already sealed. Hours later, he was out of a job. Smith fired as the coach of the Texans Sunday night after just one season in which the team went 3-13-1. It's the second straight season in which the Texans have fired a coach after just 1 year. They parted ways with David Culley last January after he went 4-13 in his only season. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather for today brought to you by the Chick-Charney Challenge. Here's what's happening. We've got low-level convergence along with weak dissipating frontal boundaries across the central Bahamas. That's going to promote showers and thunderstorms across the central and northwest Bahamas today. Meanwhile, a surface trough across Hispaniola will also support some showers across the southern Bahamas through tonight. Beachgoers and swimmers should be alert due to the slight risk of rip currents along East Coast and Atlantic beaches. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking at variably cloudy and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms today through tonight. Gusty winds and higher seas expected in showers and thunderstorms. Wind southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, shifting northwesterly in the northwest Bahamas by the afternoon. Seas 2 to 4 feet, building up to 6 feet along Atlantic exposed shorelines and easterly swells. For the southeast Bahamas today, partly sunny and warm with the chance of a few isolated showers, variably cloudy tonight with a passing shower or two possible. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sees 2 to 4 feet, building up to 6 feet along Atlantic exposed shorelines in easterly swells. Temperatures today expected around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius for your highs. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. This first look at weather brought to you by the Strachan Challenge. It's time again to claw through mud, wade through water, climb a rope, and vault the 9-foot wall in the Strachan Challenge, January 28th at Clifton Heritage Park. Sign up today at chickcharneychirin.com. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy on his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send picture direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook us at facebook.com/morningblend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Pamela Musgrove will be joining us. Coming up this morning, we are going to be talking about a number of issues. We are going to be talking about crime. We're going to be talking about Majority Rule, which is tomorrow, Majority Rule Day. And I want to pose some questions about whether it's time for us to really seriously think about setting this to either a Monday or a Friday. Will it make a difference? Will it diminish the importance of the day? Or will it just make more sense? Should today have been the holiday since it falls on a Tuesday? And again, on what we should be doing as individuals or collectively as a people to commemorate this day. We talk about this often, but nothing's happening. We're not moving on this. And what is tomorrow going to be other than a day off? Should it not be more than that? We're going to talk about that this morning. And I wanted to get into this. Did you watch it last night, the 60 Minutes interview with the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry? And what he's saying about his family and how things are. They're in a terrible place between himself and the king, King Charles, King of the Bahamas, and future King of the Bahamas, Prince William. And I'm just asking. You don't have to agree, but I want to talk about it. Do you think this is another sign? And we all have family issues, of course, but do we really need to be tied to this nonsense? Do we really? Once again, as we approach our 50th anniversary of independence, is it not time to think seriously about whether we want the British monarch to be our head of state? So all of that this morning. Later in Morning Blend Business, we're going to be talking with business owners of Village Road as the work continues there. And we're told it's going to be done this month, but do you believe that? It's already the 9th of the month. Do you honestly believe it? We're going to hear from them about how much they've been hurting over these past few months. So a lot to get to on this Monday before the Majority Rule Day holiday tomorrow. Let's begin with what else is in the news. In the news, the big headline in the NASA Guardian. Here we go again with NIB, the board, the current board, urging that there be a rate hike and soon, as in this year. Our Candia Dame's writing about it. The board at National Insurance has written the government recommending that it move ahead with an NIB rate increase of between 0.75 percentage point and 1.5 percentage points to begin to save the fund from depletion in 2028, as was projected in the latest actuarial review completed a year ago. Prime Minister Davis has said it a number of times last year, April and again in June, that a rate increase was not in the cards, but the NASA Guardian understands that the board had recommended that the government move quickly, very quickly, and had wanted that rate increase for January 1st of this year. So that was last week. Given that the recommendation was not accepted, the Guardian has learned that the board is hopeful that the necessary legislation will be amended and that the increase will be put in place for January 1st of this year. That's laughable and not right before independence. it's highly unlikely that would happen. But could it happen? This is me speaking now, not the article. Could it happen for January next year? Is that something? Well, according to the article, the 11th actuarial valuation of the National Insurance Board as of the 31st of December 2018, completed by the International Labor Organization, said NIB would have to increase its contribution rate by 2 percentage points in July 2022 and continue increases every 2 years until 2036 to ensure its financial sustainability. The report noted that NIB's annual income, which is made up of contributions and investment earnings, is insufficient to pay the annual expenditures from 2019 to 2028 in the long-term benefits branch. It stated total annual expenditures have been higher than annual income since 2016, and this means that the reserve is used to pay benefits and administrative expenses. It says that there are substantial annual deficits from 2019 to 2028, and that these deficits existed since 2016, well before the severe contraction of the GDP caused by the pandemic in 2020, and that the pandemic only exacerbated a financial problem that existed before. Now, when contacted by the National Guardian, NIB Chairman Philip McKenzie confirmed that the board has recommended that the rate be increased, though he declined to go into any specifics. McKenzie says that, quote, there are a couple of factors that are contributing to the declining liquidity in the fund. One is that the number of pensioners is increasing because Bahamians are just living longer than when the fund was originally designed. The effect of that is that payments for pensioners are increasing, if not annually, certainly biannually. So you have an increased pension payment every so often, and on the other hand, contribution rates haven't been increased for a while. While there have been some increases in the insurable ceiling, that number is not enough to offset the increased payments being made to pensioners, and that really is, if I can put it this way, where the tug of war is occurring. All right. So we've heard this many times before, and we were told, I think even a couple of years ago, the chickens were home to roost. But what is going to happen now? Is it all coming down to timing, politics, and the government trying not to upset the populace? That's why we're not seeing any changes as yet. If the board is recommending, they recommended January, they missed that. July, do you think that's likely? I cannot see that happening. But again, could it be at next year, perhaps? What do you make of it? What is keeping the government from biting this bullet that everyone knows is heading our way? Or we're trying to get away from, I don't know, you know what I mean. Anyway, Pamela Musgrove is here with us this morning. Pam, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Bahamas.
This is the first time I'm seeing you for the year?
Yeah.
What? Happy New Year, Pam.
It's January 9th.
Right. It feels like it's been 2023 for 2 months already. But hey,
time.
Happy New Year. Great to see you.
Happy New Year to you, and I wish the Bahamas a wonderful, prosperous, and healthy 2023.
Yes. NIB, is that going to be part of the healthy, wealthy, and prosperous part of it?
See, my challenge with NIB is that, the belief that the board that represent NIB has, that you increase the rate and that will solve all of your problems. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge that I have.
Are they saying that, though?
Yeah, they've been asking for rate increase. But if you go to that actuarial report, there are other stuff that they are recommending, and there's no focus on those other stuff.
Now, how do you know that? How do you know they haven't? Maybe it's just not publicly stated.
Is it confidential?
No idea.
Well, you should, for transparency, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's my challenge. I mean, yes, people say, well, we need more money because we haven't had it, haven't had the increase for years in the rate. But every 2 years, the ceiling is increasing. There was a time, I think, when the ceiling was like at $150. It's now $600 or $700. Mm-hmm. So they are getting additional monies because they're going after more and more of person's income. But I think there has to be a holistic view. There has to be total reform and not just focus on the increase, because it's going to be like BPL.
Yeah.
You're going to increase it, And then 5, 6, 7 years down the road, you can still have more problems if you're not addressing the underlying problems.
And it's been curious for a long time, the public, the statements the government is making on NIB. We hear the minister keep saying that something has to be done, but at the same time, the Prime Minister says, not going to happen, not in the cards.
I think the
not right
Prime
now.
Minister is probably saying that because he knows that there's a burden on Bahamian people with the taxes. We are burdened, and so he's probably saying that to add more. And then when you add increase, you should see the benefit of your increase.
Yeah.
I think I think last year sometime, the NIB union negotiated with management as it relates to their bonus, and it was kept confidential. They did not reveal that to the public. So here it is. We are paying our monies into this fund in order to provide for us down the road. And you are having negotiations, you have finalized negotiations with your employees, and that's confidential. We should know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get your views on it, folks. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we've talked about it over and over, and it's just now it's up to the government to act. The ball has been in their court, and while we are all here waiting for it, expecting it, and as you say, other reforms, and yet it doesn't seem like those things
Bring
are
the
happening.
package of reforms.
Bring everything.
And that could include an increase. But increasing the rate is not going to solve NIB's problem. If they don't, it's almost like building on the foundation when the foundation is compromised.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's hear what you have to say. Give us a call. 325-4316. That's the best number for you to call us on. Or you can tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Ms. Musgrove.
Good morning.
Hi.
Okay. Listen, I agree with Pam with what she's saying, but to further that, NIB have some serious problems that we need to address. I know NIB pays persons monthly who never contributed a dollar to that fund, right? Second of all, NIB pays the spouse of a paid spouse that has passed away their contribution. I don't have a problem with you paying them the contribution, but the contribution should be a little less than what that actual person who paid into that fund is getting. As well as NIB, the government takes money out of NIB to go buy this building, buy that this cable company and all of them foolishness. All of that, like Pamela said, they need to restructure all of that. You know, and I can't see brave of the Prime Minister saying he ain't gonna do it when we see that brick wall coming. You understand? Stop trying to play politics and prop up these businesses. Let's do it.
Okay.
You understand now? I heard you this morning too, Dwight. You mentioned about the four, we're nearing 4 murders in the country.
Yeah.
For January. They need to stop playing with people's lives. Their families involved, children, everybody involved. In addition to those 4 murders, there was 2 young men shot in the native yard off East Street. One of them died. I grew those young men up. So I don't know
When did that happen?
That happened last week. And I grew those young men up. I know them personally and their mothers. So I don't know why the police is reporting, trying to doctor what's happening out there. It's 5 murders.
Oh,
Check
boy.
it out. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I want to talk about that in a second. And if you look at big cities in the U.S., they haven't hit that number yet. Right? I think I'm looking hard. Up until Friday, when we had those 2 in one day on Friday in New York, they only had 1, as far as I could tell from all the sources I looked at. 1 in New York City, and it was. I mean, you can't even call it a murder. It was a homicide. 2 guys were fighting over a parking space, and somebody stabbed somebody, and so manslaughter here and there. But these were not the cases here. These were blatant murders, and we have a real problem.
Fundamental. Well, we've had this problem for some time now.
Something is wrong. The only city I could see from the U.S., and I didn't look at other countries yet. I think Chicago had quite a few already, and that's to be expected. But you don't want to be in the same sentence as Chicago when it comes to murder, do you? Or is it too late?
No.
It's already too late for us. Already too late for us. And we'll get to what the Prime Minister is saying in just a bit. All right, just a few of your messages on NIB before we move on to the crime issue. This person says here, NIB doesn't need an increase. They need to go after those that are not paying. Also, the government needs to stop using NIB funds without repayment.
See, I think what persons have to understand too, they do use the funds. This is part of NIB fund is a part of the government's fiscal policy. But what people have to understand is a tax, right? Okay, we got our national insurance from the UK. We just lifted from what they were doing. We brought it over here. And on their website, national insurance contributions are a tax on earnings and self-employed profits paid by employees, employers, and the self-employed. And so when persons talk about using the money to build the building, to purchase buildings and paying persons who didn't contribute, that's why it's being done, because it's a tax. It's a tax on contributions.
Yeah.
We don't control it. If you pay your national insurance,
They don't like when you say that, though.
I know,
They get
I
very
know.
upset when you say that.
It doesn't go well as PR, but it is. If you look at how it operates, you have no control over this money. If you were, let's say, you were to pass prior to yielding any benefits from national insurance, can you say to national insurance that upon you're not married, you don't have any children, that upon your death you would like your contributions in the fund to pass on to somebody else?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But they will say that you do get it back, right, in terms of the benefits. So that's why they say taxes and unusual word there.
No.
Although you're supposed to see the benefits of your taxes too.
Okay. Now you get to my point. You're supposed to see benefits with your taxes.
Yeah. I don't know if
So,
it'll be directly
it's a tax.
as direct as NIB is. But I see what you're saying, and I see what they're saying.
Have you ever claimed from NIB?
No.
I've never claimed.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad. Perfect, right?
We haven't had to do
Right.
that.
I never had to claim from NIB.
Yeah.
And so if I don't have a claim, I don't get anything from NIB.
But again, we're all in this together. You're looking
I
out for your fellow man. You got to help those who can't
don't
help
get me
themselves.
wrong. I'm just saying, let's say what it really is and stop trying to make it out to what it's not. It's a tax on your earnings or your salary on your earnings in order to provide a social benefit for persons.
Yeah.
So let's understand that. So if the government wants to tomorrow to increase it, they can. They can.
Yeah. You mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it as well. PR, right? Will it be this year? That's the question. Boy.
I just think that in order for it to go down, if it is to increase, well, it has to be a package of reforms. And you have to show persons from all areas what you are doing, in your words, to save the fund.
Right. This texter says here, as the insurable ceiling increases, so do the benefits. I want to know if from 2008, if the government has given all of the major construction projects an NIB tax break for foreign workers on projects up to this point. Okay. This one says here, there are far too many businesses not paying NIB and very large, well-known businesses. The government must deal with that first and stop choking the small man with increased taxes. Another one here, NIB can do a better job getting self-employed to pay consistently. Oh, yeah? How do you recommend that? I'm sure they would like to know as well.
I think that one of the challenges with the self-employed were they weren't entitled to some of the benefits. They did receive it, but they're not entitled to some of the benefits like persons who are employed by a company are entitled to. And so that may be a challenge for some people. I imagine there are persons who religiously pay their national insurance, self-employed persons, but the benefits, they're not entitled to the same benefits.
Another one says here, NIB is a social assistance program, not insurance. If you die, they pay $2,000 for funerals for all. Learn the function of NIB. Stop the elite talks. It's pathetic. Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Blendon. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, good morning.
Special good morning to Pam. Pam,
Good morning.
I have two quick ones to drop by you for your opinion on it. The first one is, are parliamentarians receiving a separate pension money when they retire from a separate pension fund and also the NIB package as well? That's the first one. You want to answer that first and then I ask the next one?
If parliamentarians are receiving
Receiving proceeds from NIB and also from their separate pension fund if they are allowed to be in house, be in house for 2 terms.
Well, no, I know they get a pension after they serve 2 terms, consecutive or non-consecutive. Where that money is coming from, I imagine, from government.
Okay, fine. The next one is this. Now, you talked earlier about the freedom of information and how important that would have been so we could have a more functional society. But with government overspending, government overborrowing, and government printing at an accelerating rate money, right? How is that's not similar to Sam Bankman-Fried's move? Because they're not showing you the papers. They're not showing you their work. No freedom of information. Isn't that similar to what Sam Bankman-Fried was doing? The same thing government is doing right now?
No, but if you go to the central bank's website, every quarter the government releases quarterly statistical digest, and it shows you in revenues and expenditure for the various segments or sections in government. Now, a lot of stuff is done during the budget where they drill down into those numbers, but for the most part, the numbers are revealed in the central bank quarterly statistical digest. So there is a level of transparency there.
And
I'm talking about when you drill down behind the scenes to these government institutions. You don't have that same level of transparency.
And they're not just printing money like that, right?
No, I think he's probably talking about a recent occurrence in the paper where it was opined that may be the case. But,
oh, boy. Really? Okay. This message here, even more than the decay of the relationship of the Royals, it is more concerning that in such trying times locally for many behemoths, so many behemoths that include overwhelming prices at grocery stores and gas stations, high energy costs, and now the talk of NIB increases, we are still financing a Governor General office that does not positively impact us on any level. Make it make sense, please. I wish I could.
I heard that the payment is the salary that the Governor General receives upon their death, that their oldest child receive about 75% of that.
What now?
And it goes down and that child's oldest child, I guess, in keeping with the monarch.
No, there's a pension. Is that the same thing, or is that?
Yeah, they get their pension, but when they pass on, we're still paying the family a smaller percentage, but we're still paying the family.
See where you could. I've never heard this. See if you can find that. I've never.
It was on a talk show where someone went in detail.
Someone, a reliable source?
I didn't write that Guardian. Yeah, very reliable. They were talking about it.
Dear God. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
Happy New Year, Pam.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you
It's
as well.
great to hear your voice. I thought you wasn't coming back for 2023, but it's good to hear your voice.
This is the first Monday of the year. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I tell you.
End of March.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again.
That does not happen.
We'll get a special fund at NIB to keep her here. How about that?
That's right.
Yeah.
She is a very no lies, Pam. Your voice is very much needed in these matters.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, your knowledge and your understanding of what we are going through from a financial standpoint. For a lot of persons here on the ground, you give a very clear and concise and contribution in helping us to understand what's going on here. So
thank you.
Thank you for 2023 for that in particular.
Thank you.
Dwight, as far as national insurance is concerned, there are a number of caveats that we have to take away from this. First and foremost, yes, the pandemic did bleed the national insurance quite a bit. Persons who have never contributed to the fund have benefited from the system. Persons who have contributed and are up in age, yes, they deserve to get every benefit that national insurance has to offer. I think now what we need to do is, and it's something that I'm still today not hearing the government is doing in a very effective manner, is to find out who all works in this country, who's collecting salaries, whether on the books or off the books, and get them to contribute to national insurance. You know, this is why as we age, as we get older, I'm, for one, for all these decades I've worked, I've never once claimed from national insurance. Not even once, not even for sickness. And yet, you can tell me in 2028, you are going to run presumably out of funds when at our twilight years, it means that we may not be able to benefit from our contributions. That's preposterous. And we have to fix the system. In closing there, the persons such as, is there a cap for persons who are now deceased, who may have contributed? Is there a cap or a timeline when those payments will stop? Although the other spouse is still living, is there a cap on that? These are some of the questions that we need to be made aware of as we continue to fund national insurance. But at this rate we're going right now with a person, especially with the non-contributory persons, but they're benefiting from the fund, that must stop. I mean, we can't carry this burden any further. And lastly, it's kind of ironic.
I think as long as the person is unmarried, right? I think as long as they remain unmarried, I think they do get the benefits. If they remarry, I'm not too sure if they do.
Well, let's find out. Well, I hope someone from National Insurance will come forward and offer that information once again. Butler used to do a phenomenal job in keeping the public aware of national insurance and all the benefits and stuff like that, criteria. So maybe perhaps, someone at her level, if she's no longer there,
she's not,
should come on the airways and let us know. But let me close on this one quick point very quickly here. Increase of the minimum wage is kind of ironic that every time the Bahamian public tries to get a foot up on benefits that we've been demanding for or asking for quite some time, every time there's an increase in an incentive for the Bahamian people to benefit, these taxes continue to follow suit and increasing. So when are we going to get the break? We're trying to get monies in the bank to save for families, pay bills and everything. But every time we turn around, new taxes are introduced. These things must stop as well. Thanks for taking my call, Dwight.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you found it?
No. So I think what persons need to remember, like the texter said, is a social security tax, right? And so that being the case, for those who need help, I think we have to help them.
Yeah.
We have to find means to help it. So once we accept it as a tax, then I think we have to help. The government has to help the citizenry. I think what the challenge is in 2019, the net contribution income, national insurance received $287.1 million in contribution. That's a lot of money, Dwight.
Yeah, but what did they pay out?
We have a workforce, I think in 2019, about 200 and some thousand persons. Now that's the challenge.
Yeah, what did they pay out?
They paid out $311.5
big
million
discrepancy there.
Dollars.
Got a big problem.
But that's a lot of income to receive from that size of a workforce.
But nowhere near enough.
Huh?
It seems.
Because that's the same problem we have in government.
Yeah.
The revenue is much more than the expenditure.
This message as we go to the break. Pam voiced one of my concerns with NIB. As an unmarried person with no children, all the money I've paid will go back to the fund if I am not able to claim my pension. I should be able to name a beneficiary.
No, because it's a tax. You cannot name a beneficiary for a tax. Let's just accept that and move on.
Let's go to the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
What you wanna do, think I'm ready, ooh, think you like that, when I clap back like that, let me know, am I ready, what you talking about, am I ready, go figure it out, to be loved, am I ready, you could serve it now, kind of want it, that's what I'm talking about, am I ready, go figure it out, to be
It's Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your first good traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialists can help provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. A reminder about the work that goes on nightly at Gladstone Road. It's going on for the next few weeks. You're asked to avoid the area between 9:30 p.m. and 3:30 a.m. if you can, although residents will be permitted entrance. But if you can, avoid the area and follow all posted signs. In your real-time traffic this morning, we're seeing a heavy traffic as usual on Gladstone Road from Fire Trail all the way up to JFK Drive. Mile Butler Highway, also heavy traffic from Fire Trail all the way up to the Tonic Williams Darling Highway roundabout. That's in northbound lanes for both thoroughfares there. Traffic back to along Fire Trail eastbound to the roundabout with Mile Butler Highway as well this morning. Blue Hill Road, seeing some heavy traffic near Carmichael. And just north of Soldier Road, northbound to the roundabout with Independence Drive. And we're seeing pockets along Cowpen Road, eastbound to Faith Avenue and Carmichael at the junction of Mile Butler Highway and eastbound, as we said, to Blue Hill Road. Prince Charles Drive seeing some heavy traffic as well. Just west of Fox Hill to Beatrice Avenue, very heavy there. And Eastern Road from just east of Fox Hill Road to Johnson Road westbound. Burnett Road westbound as well, near the schools in the area. Those are your hot spots for now. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist. (7:43) Time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by John West Shoes. We've got low-level convergence along with a weak dissipating frontal boundary across the central Bahamas. That's going to promote showers and thunderstorms across the central and northwestern islands today. Meanwhile, a surface trough across Hispaniola will support shower activity across the southern islands as well through tonight. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, variably cloudy and humid with widely scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms today through tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny and warm with a few isolated showers. Variably cloudy tonight with a passing shower or two possible. Temperatures getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. Currently in Nassau, it's about 72 degrees under partly cloudy skies. In your extended outlook, a weak cold front will drift into the northern Bahamas and slowly drift southeastwards across the islands while dissipating. Meanwhile, a surface trough across Hispaniola, we told you about that, that's going to continue to support showers across the southern Bahamas. High pressure will build across the islands through Wednesday behind that dissipating front. So for tomorrow, Tuesday, majority rule day, variably cloudy with a few scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms. Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds with the chance of a few isolated showers during the day, mostly fair with a stray shower or two possible at night. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by John West Shoes. Nassau, John West is here to put shoes on your feet. You've got your family's feet covered for every occasion. Check out the variety of women's sandals and slippers, heels and working shoes, men's sneakers and safety boots. And kids, check out their boys' boat shoes, girls' sandals and school shoes. John West Shoes now open in the Carmichael City Shopping Center behind Wendy's. Call them at 820-9715. Let John West put shoes on your feet.
RBC believes your journey to home ownership is unique, whether it's your first home, equity on an existing home, or a new home. So your mortgage financing should also reflect your individual needs. That is why at RBC, we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with a mortgage specialist. Reimagine how you bank with RBC.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. the place where you can download a 2-hour movie in seconds and stay connected to loved ones even when traveling far from home. Where internet moves at lightning speeds, smoother and more reliable than anything you've ever seen. This future-proof technology can take you to worlds that you can only imagine. The future is here. The future is home. The future is Alive Fiber.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Whether your business is in-store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Stand! Oh yeah! Stand! Stand! Let's go! Stand! You do the crime, you must do the time. Stand! KB and Sting say so. Stand! Oh yeah! Stand! Let's go! Crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Being bad was good, boy. Then why they lock away? Don't mind what your friends say, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Listen, prison only look good from the outside, but when you behind bars, boy, now that's a different vibe. The first thing you regret, boy, is the last thing that you do. Then you have to worry about somebody tickling you. Come on, crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Being bad was good, boy. Then why they lock away? Don't mind what your friends say, boy. Crime doesn't pay. You living in a small room that's crowded to the max. You can't get what you want, boy, no matter how you act.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove on this Monday morning. First non-holiday Monday of the year.
Is that so bad to celebrate the holiday on the day?
Okay, we're going to get to that in a bit, right? Wait, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I have, anyway. I mean, what is today? Are we ready to get
Yeah, but I think you should celebrate the holiday on the day.
Oh, you think that?
Yeah. Why would you do it on a Monday and a Friday to appease the workers?
Yeah. What? Of course. Why not? I mean, what type of? It's weird.
It's not.
It is. It's weird. We even have it in law already that if a holiday, and there are only a few that were movable like that, fell on a Tuesday, it would be observed on a Monday.
Oh, that's in law.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the exception is this now.
Okay.
It used to be like this with what was Discovery Day.
I think you should
we
celebrate.
fixed it.
It's easy. Celebrate
Well,
the holiday.
first of all, celebrate. What do we do on January 10th?
Well, you see that's it. That's the thing. I think for most of these holidays, except Christmas, we do on Easter. Well, Easter we
Monday.
yeah. Well, yeah. So I think that's the thing.
And
On these
Emancipation
holidays,
Day.
there are no there are no functions to generally put people in the mind of what the holiday really represent.
Absolutely.
And the coming together. Now that's an issue that we have to
Right.
look at.
And so, and that's the only way I would accept it the way it is. In the absence of really making that day very special, and I've said it before what I think should happen, that it should be an annual day of looking back at what needs to be done to fix the country. Ideally, a referendum day every January 10th. There's an issue. We've discussed it all year. And today we're going to vote on this. And whatever we vote, the majority will be the law. And find a way, because people like to dodge these referenda, but find a way to give them a tax break. You get the $500 duty exemption. I don't know, whatever it takes to get people to participate. But we need to do that to make this day really mean something. If you're not going to do that, well, then this day needs to fall on a Monday or Friday.
To benefit the workers, okay.
Because it just
I get your
makes
argument.
sense.
I get your.
It just makes sense. It
If
doesn't
it's-
make sense to have a Tuesday holiday or a Thursday holiday. Who's coming to work on a Friday?
Okay, I get.
Do you know
your
that tons
argument.
of people are just going back to work Wednesday because since before Christmas they're not coming back. Last week was what is that?
And so many persons you think will call in sick today because there's a holiday tomorrow.
Plenty of people aren't going to work today. And if this were a Thursday, plenty of people wouldn't show up on Friday. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Again, if you're going to do something significant on the 10th, make it mean something right
No,
now.
I
What are
agree
your
totally
plans
with
for
that.
tomorrow, Pam? What are you going to be doing tomorrow? Let me hear this.
Well, there are some Christmas decorations that need to come down.
Wow.
So that's my free day.
Boy,
I
I tell
must
you.
take it down tomorrow. So
Boy, I tell
I'm
you.
taking it down tomorrow, and I'm going to bake a bread. Yeah,
Happy majority
Yes.
rule day to you.
it's a time off to reflect and to catch up on the work that needs to be done. Because you know the week is so busy, and the weekend is just
That's right.
It goes by so fast. Yeah. So that's my day for tomorrow.
All right, so we're already getting a lot of people. I wanted to bring this up later because I wanted to tie this into the monarchy. But anyway, let's do it now. Let's get it out of the way. Do you celebrate, this is a text, do you celebrate your birthday on a different day? I don't care what day the holiday falls on. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, generally, I try to take vacation that week. So, but I mean, it's different though. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. But I'm fine with it being Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if it is going to be something memorable.
Well,
If
then
we're
that's
going
what we
to
have to work
celebrate.
on then.
We've
And
been
I
saying
agree.
this for how many
Yeah,
years
I
now?
agree.
And nothing is changing.
On the national holidays, there should be something to commemorate it.
Referendum day. Referendum day. Let's do it. There's so many things we need to decide on to fix once and for all in our Constitution.
But see, the thing about it is that you have to plan up to that referendum. You have to go in Parliament. You have to have a vote. You have to have 75%.
What's the issue?
Of persons, and then you have to have an educational campaign.
We got a whole year, every year.
Yeah, that's going to take some time.
We got nothing but time. You want the time to take down your decorations? As opposed to getting your finger inked up? By the way, did they ever fix the voting process in the country since the last election? Do we still use the purple paper card? We still, nothing yet? Nothing changed yet? So it's only 4 years left, right? Oh, boy. Let's hear what you say. What do you say? You're fine with a holiday on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday? Or should this be officially always the second Monday of January or the Or, like the law says, if it falls on a Tuesday, it should be on the Monday. If it falls on a Wednesday or Thursday, it should be on the Friday. What say you, caller? Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning to all.
Hi.
Yeah, I would like to address that thing about the taxation. You know, the NIB. You know, it seems like we have a taxation problem in this country. You know, it's like our government. You imagine going to a well to draw water from an empty well. That's what our government we are trying to do. In other words, we are trying to tax the people that don't have the money rather than tax the people that have the money. We all know who have the money in this country. It's not the poor people. You know, it's the rich folks. You know, those high middle class folks. They are the people that have this money. So, you know, and you know, and what do we tax for? What do our government use taxes for? Or what should they use taxes for? You know, we use for infrastructure. You know, who use these infrastructure? Who do these infrastructures, many of these infrastructures benefit most? Like the airport, you know, or even the seaport. You know, I would think that the poor people seldom use the airport.
What?
You know, and the seaport, not us, you know what I'm saying? So we got to decide.
It's a lot of generalizing there. I don't know about that. But okay. All right. I hear you. But definitely reform is needed. Absolutely. Do we need to have a referendum on whether we should have income tax? Is that required, Pam? I'm sure a lot of people would turn out to vote on that one. Right? No? Okay. Somebody's asking, I hope they're just being sarcastic. I really hope so. I really hope so. They're asking, what's the significance of January 10th again? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, there you go. I mean, people don't even know what it is, right? They're just taking the day off. Thank goodness, because I was going to have an exam on Tuesday, and I don't have one this week. Yay. Boy. Sad. This one says, it doesn't matter to me which day. It's double time for me. Another one here. We have to teach Bahamians that majority rule was more about one man, one vote. It was about stopping one person from voting 20 times because of how much property they had. Another one says, my 14-year-old son kept saying all weekend how it makes no sense for him to have to go to school today to be off tomorrow. Makes no sense. I agree, Dwight. Yeah. This one says here it should be every second Monday in January. I think so. I do think so. We do this now with Labor Day and Whit Monday. We do what? Do what? What do you mean? Let me read the first part. The other one says, it would be easy to set some of these holidays the way they do the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. For example, Majority Rule Day could be the second Monday in January or the second Friday in January, etc. We just seem to not be using our thinking caps. Okay. That's what they mean. So, yes, Labor Day is the first Friday in June. Whit Monday doesn't work like that, though. Whit Monday is based on when Easter falls, so it's a little different.
Yeah, because sometimes you can have that Monday and that Friday and Monday.
Sometimes it falls in the same week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the same weekend.
Different
Sometimes
weeks.
it's a totally different week, but again, that's based on when Easter falls. And y'all don't like to talk about when Easter falls, but it's based on the first full moon after the spring equinox, which scares people, but that's how it's set. So, yeah, the Sunday after the first full moon. And then you got to count to Whit after that. So that one moves all the time. But anyway, we'll pick up this conversation and about crime and about the monarchy, all coming up after the news. Stay with us.
You're listening to News.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:16, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got a severe weather warning in effect now until about 9:40 a.m. That is a thunderstorm warning for Grand Bahama and Eleuthera, and a severe weather watch in effect for Andros and northern Exuma. According to the Department of Meteorology, their lightning detector and satellite imagery showing clusters of thunderstorms moving east and southeastwards towards and across these areas. The system is associated with the frontal boundary near the northwest and central Bahamas and the prefrontal moisture from an approaching cold front across central Florida. We're expecting thunderstorms that are going to be heavy to severe at times, causing strong, dangerous winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, hail, and possible water spout or tornado activity. Again, that's a thunderstorm warning in effect for Grand Bahama and Eleuthera, and a weather watch in effect for Andros and northern Exuma. There is a lot going on weather-wise, so we've got this, again, frontal boundary that is approaching, and there's a surface trough across Hispaniola that's going to support some showers and thunderstorms across the southern Bahamas today as well. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, look for variably cloudy and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms today through tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny and warm, with a chance of a few isolated showers. Variably cloudy tonight with a passing shower or two possible. Temperatures getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, a weak cold front. That weak cold front is expected to move into the northern Bahamas and slowly drift southeastwards across the islands while dissipating. And that surface trough across Hispaniola will continue to support shower activity across the southern islands. High pressure will build through Wednesday behind the dissipating front. So for tomorrow, your majority rule day holiday, look for variably cloudy conditions with a few scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms. Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds with a chance of a few isolated showers during the day, mostly fair with a stray shower or two possible at night. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. At 8:19, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialists can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. In your real-time traffic this morning, we're seeing that heavy traffic on Carmichael eastbound to Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill seeing some congestion near St. Vincent Road, near Carmichael especially, and north of Soldier Road, northbound to Independence Drive. And the roundabout there. Independence Drive seeing some heavy traffic between the two roundabouts, East Street and Blue Hill Road, westbound and eastbound, especially eastbound this morning. Soldier Road is also busy for you eastbound to the intersection with East Street. East Street congested for you northbound from Soldier Road straight through to that roundabout, even north of the roundabout on the way to Robinson Road. Carmichael westbound also busy westbound traffic to Coral Harbor Road. And Cowpen Road seeing some heavy traffic on the way to Faith Avenue. In eastern New Providence, we've got Prince Charles Drive seeing heavy traffic in a number of spots, including near Elizabeth Estates, near the Foxhill Road intersection, and on the way to Beatrice Avenue. Bernard Road westbound and Eastern Road westbound also seeing heavy traffic, especially on Eastern Road east of Foxhill to Johnson Road. Then we've got Soldier Road northbound heading into Village Road. Of course, the construction going on there. Avoid the area if you can, but that's going to be congested for you in any event. Building traffic on Marathon northbound and pockets along Mackey Street. Those are your hot spots right now. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
RBC believes your journey to home ownership is unique, whether it's your first home, equity on an existing home, or a new home. So your mortgage financing should also reflect your individual needs. That is why at RBC, we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with a mortgage specialist. Reimagine how you bank with RBC.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef, it's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
Babe, you mashed the car?
I mashed the car. The lady run into me, mashed the car.
I hope she had insurance.
If she had insurance, she hop out, pull out her phone, pull up the Royal Star Assurance app, and bang! She was on a video call with an RSA rep, sending pictures of her damage, my damage, filing a claim on the spot.
For real? Our insurance have that kind of app?
You gotta go to RSA for that.
Download the RSA app today or visit rsabahamas.com to submit your claim online. Live chat available weekdays 9 to 5.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
When I was 17, I dreamed of being king and having everything I wanted. But that was long ago, and dreams did not unfold, so I'm still the king of nothing. When I was 17, I dreamed I gave a ring to a pretty queen, and then I held her. But that was slumber's fault, for I have no love at all, and I'm still the king of nothing. If I could rule.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove on this Monday morning. Okay, we're just learning new things every day here on the show. And we thank you to all of our listeners for sending us bills and laws and all these exciting things. All right, so we're going to get into all this. Before the break, I was asking you what you think about Majority Rule Day. Should it be set to something... so it's not a movable holiday, right? So it'll be either the Monday or the Friday, or right. Pam doesn't care anyway.
No, I have no problems with the holiday being on the date that it's supposed to be celebrated.
Yeah. Okay. But I think it's awkward. It's weird. It's weird to come to work today, to be off tomorrow, and have to get up on Wednesday to come. Oh boy!
If you didn't have a job like you appearing on air, would you be more likely to take a sick day today? And didn't have the holiday?
Now, you remember a few weeks ago we talked about this, and I said that today more than likely I was going to do the show remotely, right? Because it was like, why am I coming down here? But we got some good guests coming, so we decided to show my face. But I would seriously work from home. I don't know if I'd take a sick day, but I would work from home.
But if you didn't have the option to work from home.
What type of job does that now?
What do you mean?
Besides
There
a
are
store.
lots of jobs don't have
Yeah?
that option
Really?
to work from home.
Banks and stores, retail. Huh, okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find this information. I know this was a thing. Anyway, I'll get to that. All right, let's take this call. Caller, what do you make of it? What do you think about the holiday?
Okay, according to this is Strachan away salon youth Palm Dwight.
Hi.
We need justice law in this country. You know, I want to make 2 points. One, we having too much holidays. See, for the simple reason that when the criminals realize that much police are not on, and you can't get anybody that's in authority to deal with a problem, then they go and do a lot of crime. And I'm speaking of experience, right? Secondly, I heard
Too many holidays.
the Prime Minister talked about stopping the young children from getting into crimes, into gangs, right? The youngsters, right? The thing is, what the Prime Minister need to do, he need to have the police to start working on Spence Street, in which these people around here are lawless. And you can't get the police. What the most police does is pass in the buck. They would say there's no car. They would say they're going to send the police, and it never comes. You see, that's a bunch of craziness. He need to deal with that immediately. Thank you.
Okay. Well, continue calling 325-4316, 325-4259, or 323-6232. Okay. This one says here, every second Monday in January makes sense. It only makes sense. This one says here, Dwight, I agree with you. As a teacher, whenever there is a holiday, the kids just don't show up. Their parents take them on extended holidays. Last week, I had 11 out of my 25 kids in attendance. Imagine today. And
Those parents aren't showing up to work either.
It's amazing how many parents don't see an issue with this. Like, what's the point, right? They hear school's closing at half day, 1, 2 o'clock, and they're like, school's closing at half day anyway. Like, no, you can't. Come on, man. Really? And then the kids start to, put less value in education as well. I mean, it's just, what's the big deal? Only missing a day today and missing a day tomorrow. And, who cares? This person says here, I looked it up. Majority Rule Day became a public holiday in 2014. It commemorates the Bahamas gaining majority rule. Did you just look it up? Oh, they're saying this is the same person who asked before. Wow, okay. You didn't know this.
Better late than never.
Oh, boy. Dwight, Berman should have been cut from the time he said too many holidays.
I figured that.
I
know a lot of points that say cut right now, cut.
I'm thinking right now how to, work in somehow. I should be able to get the Bahamian, U.S., and British holidays.
British.
What?
The British, because the king
Because
is
of
also
the
our
king of the Bahamas,
Yeah.
right? Yes, of course. Call it. Why not? Why don't we get the... Anyway.
I think most of our holidays are similar to theirs, most of them. We may have more.
You
than
think
they
we
have.
have more? I don't know if we have more. We only have 10. It's really not that many. It feels like more to you?
No, I think because we pattern after them, because we came
Every
from them,
single-
and then we added some additional ones.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight, how are you?
Doing well.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I just want to make a comment. Well, based on the NIB situation, I do make contributions to my fund privately. I don't see it as a tax. It's something that I know I look forward to when I retire, number one. But we need the experts to come on the radio to explain the variations of the fund because, it's based on employment, based on birth rate and all that stuff. Persons who are working versus, who are getting ready to retire is almost like a pyramid. But it's not a tax. I don't see it as a tax at all. It's just I'm making contribution for future.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. You are free to have that opinion that you don't see it as a tax.
It's you get the experts. I've been listening to your show. You all had some person on a couple of years ago, I think, and it's not a tax.
It is.
And you should have benefited if you have any children, or if you're anyone in your family may have kids, or they themselves would have benefited. See, what I'm paying into it is that would affect my family or my niece or my nephew or my sister, anyone having babies. That comes out of that too. So it's more like you're putting in to support others in their aspect, and then it's your time for a time, and then you receive from it. It's just something you're putting in to receive. It's not a tax. I'm sure if you listen to Mr. Lang's show, he'll give you some more insight.
I've listened to lots of shows, and I'm telling you, from where we got NIB, their definition of NIB, it's a social security tax.
People aren't going to agree on it.
That's fine,
right? So
that's fine.
It's how you see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's your opinion, how you see it. If you want to see it as not being a tax, then it's to you. It's not a tax. At the end of the day, you cannot control it. And if the government decides to increase it, we all have to pay it.
You can't opt out of it.
No, you can't.
All right, let's take one more call on this. And I do want to get to, especially as we are approaching Majority Rule Day, the Royals, what to make of their drama, and whether we need to still be hitching our wagon. What's it saying? Hitching our wagon to their whatever. You know what I mean. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you and Palm doing this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
Thanks.
Yeah, Dwight, I can ask one small question before I get into your topic on hand this morning. Look here, man. Y'all don't take Wi-Fi calling or internet calling, data calling. Because I feel like I get triple tax when I use my minutes. But data to me. Hey, Palm, I agree with you right now. Remember me keep telling you all, I take an early pension. By March, I should be 60 years old. I don't already start doing my paperwork. I tell all my friends who's 60, go get your pension, because I saw Mr. LaRoda on Breaching New Year, and I was talking for 10 minutes. See, we in this country, they're doing this bad in this country, man. The Moses school killing us. See, you got some people getting 2 and 3 pension. I don't see how that could happen, Dwight. You know what I mean? I got some friends, the kind of work I does, they're getting mad at me, man. I tell them, man, for Jesus Christ's sake, man, at least you could pay $80 a month for yourself, man. And people who run in health insurance, they're too lazy. They're sitting behind them desk. Go on them construction sites. If you get a construction contract and someone wait, everybody's supposed to pay their taxes. They're making more money than you. They don't have to pay no license fees. They don't have to pay no what. They don't have to do these things. They're just waiting for themselves. But we need to fix the country, man. We need to fix the country. I'm tired of getting taxed, man. That's all I can say, man.
Okay. Well,
and taxes don't have to be a bad word, I think taxes should be equitable and not overburdening. It doesn't have to be a bad word once you receive the benefits.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
From the taxes.
Tired is, oh boy. If you can see where it's going, then I don't see why.
For instance, in the UK, I think their rate is up like the 14%. But then they don't pay a separate tax for national health insurance, for national health. So they are able to access their medical facilities without paying a separate tax. So taxes don't have to be bad if people can see the benefits derived from their tax dollars.
All right, so a couple more of these messages on the holiday, and we'll tie this all in together with the monarchy and the head of state. Okay, this person says, Dwight, man, listen, a holiday on a Tuesday, I don't like that. We as conch, paying NIV until you retire and can't claim when I'm old is wrong. Well, why can't you claim when you're old? You mean you want to claim before that? That's what you're saying? Okay, well, there are lots of financial institutions that can help you if you want to invest your money in some other ways, right? Dwight, in the service or industry, hundreds of thousands of employees have fixed days off on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and return the next day. So keep it on the 10th. Oh, okay. So they like it like that. Too many holidays, I agree. Wow. Oh, boy. What's going on here?
I think it's too many when you have more than 2 in a month. So we have 10, right?
Mhm.
So that's on average 1 holiday per month. Now, when we're getting like 14,
That's
13
September.
or 14.
We need a break in September.
So 13 or 14, yeah. That's when it's
If
too,
it were
it's
one
too
a
much.
month, it would be okay. If it were literally one a month.
So
but
because
it's
we
not.
are under 1 a month, I
We've
think
got,
we're okay.
as you said, there are 2 in a number of months.
That's
And
okay, but I'm saying
weird.
on average, if we had like 13, 14 holidays, then that would mean that we would have to double up, right? But because we are under 12, so that's not 1 per month, I think we're good. I think that's the benchmark. Over 12 would be too much. Under 12 would be okay.
Okay. This person, these employers are upset. How much more are employers having to pay for NIB? I feel NIB contributions should come from the employee, I guess, going forward. Everything should come from the employee, Can we start celebrating Majority Rule Day on the day Majority Rule happened? It didn't happen on the election day of January 10th. My goodness. Yep. And what will that do? What difference will that make? Will that make everything better?
It'll be in another month.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but what would it do? I mean, does it mean anything? Again, and how, again, are we celebrating or commemorating Majority Rule? How are we doing it? Okay. Anything the government takes out of my salary is a tax. Calling it a fee or a benefit, whatever, is just an exercise in parsing words. My monthly salary is effectively reduced, and based on the government's irresponsible spending, God knows if I'll ever get any of it back. All right. This one says it's not a tax, it's an insurance. All insurances come with a fee, and you pay for the benefits. Yeah, well, again, you could drop your insurance. No penalties, usually.
Try dropping national insurance. You can.
All right, so did you watch it? Did you watch the 60 Minutes interview last night with Anderson Cooper and Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex? Did you just get to see it, Pat?
I did.
Mhm.
I did watch
Any
it. I'd
surprise-
also watched the documentary.
You've been watching it, the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched the documentary.
Any surprises? Anything? Any concerns?
Well, I am team Harry, Meghan. I'm on that camp. I'm in camp team Harry, Meghan.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'll have my biases,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Some interesting things said about now King Charles and future King William. And again, King Charles is the king of the Bahamas.
I think they're humans, and no family is perfect, no matter what people put out there. It's just that we are used to hearing about the royal family years and years and years after their past. We haven't been so real time, and I think that is what making it so difficult. I don't know if the Crown kind of the Crown on Netflix. I don't know if that kind of like put that in people's minds. You know,
Humanize them.
Yeah, one of
Quite
the
a bit.
things because I haven't really watched all of the series of the Crown. I think the first 2, but I stopped because I just don't like watching about people's lives so real time.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm doing a documentary, this is a documentary and you're telling the story, but to have that, I wasn't all of that enthused about it, and I think because, like I said, these people are living now and it's so real time. I think that's a big challenge, particularly for the UK people, the British people. They do not like Harry and Meghan. I understand. I mean, that's a over 1,000-year institution, and the royal family bring in a lot of revenues for the British economy. And so they're trying to protect that.
Just beautiful. And they have every right to do that.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Yes, as you said, they are humans, and this is family, and all of us have issues with people in our family, of course. But they aren't our head of state, right? The people in your family. They aren't representing your country, and you don't have them on your money or on buildings and all that. Why are we doing this?
Okay.
And is this not the right time to again bring this up as we approach our 50th anniversary of independence in quotation marks? Are we seriously going to be still talking this nonsense about a king of the Bahamas, a foreign person who is the king of the Bahamas, and especially when we're hearing now the type of mentality they have, likely, at least one person saying this, based on people of different ethnicities and races.
Okay, I have a question. Who owns / control Freeport?
It's being managed by the Port Authority,
Yeah,
the city
but
of Freeport.
who are the beneficiary owners
It's
behind
certainly
that?
a company, a private company.
And when you drill down further, who's behind that? A family?
Yeah, there's
or
some families in
families?
there. It's not the best model. This is, and you see how that's been
it's
going.
not-
You see how that has been going.
Well, I'm just saying though.
And do you
yeah.
doubt that if they were elected officials, that Freeport would be in the state it's in?
Yeah,
You doubt it, or you think that it would be better?
it would be better.
It would be better if they were
definitely. But
elected
I'm just,
officials. Mm-hmm.
I'm just drawing a parallel. It's like a family owns Freeport.
It's
and so
awful. That's a
family-
sign.
Mhm.
That's a sign, right? We didn't need the documentary or any interview for us to, well, some of us to know this makes little sense. What are we holding on to? Just the tradition? What benefits do we get? You just mentioned it. The British people. It is big business. It is huge. It's tourism. It's big time money. What do we get?
Okay, so
having
what
a
is-
foreign head of state?
What is the alternative?
Not having a foreign head of state.
Okay, what is the alternative?
Having a president, preferably one that we vote for.
Okay.
Preferably, not appointed. I
And have we
prefer
explored that?
Who's the we?
Yeah, as a country, have we
Clearly
explored
not.
that? Okay,
Clearly
so
not.
we
But-
can have to
but-
hold on to this until we have all the
But should we
alternatives.
not start exploring it?
I agree.
To truly be independent, especially in this 50th year of our so-called independence, is this not the time to really be looking at this, to say, being in the Commonwealth, okay, that's fine, but we don't really need you to be the head of state.
Who can make that happen, or which institutions can make that happen?
In terms of what?
Us being different, us not having the king
Well, we're
as
definitely
our
gonna
head
have
of
a
state.
referendum for
So
this.
I'm saying, who can make that happen, or which institutions can make that happen?
I don't know if we have any that are prepared to go down this road, but we need to have our Bahamian people thinking about it clearly and carefully. Like, has the time come for us to truly trot our own road? Let's hear what you say, folks. 325-4316, 323-6232, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. What say you?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good morning.
I think we should explore the head of state, but I'm in agreement with Pam. I mean, before we explore or before we change it, we should have an alternative or have somebody in place before doing that. And lastly, I mean, as relates to documentary or even being tied to the royals, you can look at it like this: they are human, and we can relate in that way. But I think Harry and Meghan are crybabies. They're not doing it. I feel that he's making it worse. I don't care what nobody says. We all have issues in our family. And could you imagine your family member, Pam, exposing your innermost workings of your family? I don't think you would want them around you either. Because what if I say, let me forgive these guys, or forgive them, and we have a confidential discussion, and they go and expose more of the family into workings. I wouldn't want them around. And they're crying about, like, oh my God, it's so rough on us royals. Come on, buddy. You making millions of dollars. They made millions of dollars for that Netflix documentary. They're not doing it from the goodness of their heart. They make
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I hear you.
I agree to that extent. You don't want, your intimate family details to be placed out there. But I think from their perspective, what has happened was that their family was leaking information on them that really turned the public against them. And so they're at a point where they have to tell their story. They have to own their own story. And it's just a defensive mode. And then when your family rip your security away from you and leave you just high and dry, they have to earn money. And so This is a means. See, I think I look at it too as the different cultures, right? The U.S., your personal story sells.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be popular and if you have a speaking platform, you have to be authentic and real. So you take, for instance, Oprah. When you tell them about your life, that sells. In the UK, they have this stiffer upper lip that you don't show these emotions, and that's not really common amongst them. I think we got some of that.
I mean, I
in
think
the
it's common,
Bahamas.
but not with the royals. Sure. I think it now with the the
Not
average
as much,
person.
yeah, not as much though.
Mhm.
And so, and because this family has kept this motto: never complain, never explain, or keep calm and carry on. You know, they're gonna have to reform because my fundamental problem with the royal family is how can you justify making someone feel that a child feel that they're better than their sibling because they came out first. And I think Kate and William have a problem with that with their 3 children. I have a fundamental problem with that. That you are better than me just because you came out first. I have a fundamental problem with that.
That's your biggest problem?
I have a fundamental problem.
How
I
about
think
the
they're going to
fact
need
that-
to be real reform.
That you, who've never been to this place, are the king of a country. How about that? That's even more disturbing.
He's been here.
Huh?
He's
Sure.
been-
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful.
And I think the king is supposed to be coming. Isn't the king coming for the 50th?
So you promised.
Okay, see, there you go, Dwight. You should ask him for an interview.
Oh boy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Okay, something's going on with your phone. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How about you doing this morning?
Good.
Doing well.
Doing well,
What
thanks.
say you on this the issue? Is it time for us to abandon the British monarch as our head of state?
What do Dwight?
Hi.
You
All right, something's going on with your phone. I don't know what's happening, but try to call back. 325-4316. 325-4316. Okay, this person says that Dwight Harry is an ungrateful, spoiled little rich boy, and his wife Meghan is just evil. Oh,
See,
boy.
and if you read the comments online from persons in the UK, that is what it is. That same type of commentary. And I think when they started to tell their story in the US, I think a lot of persons sympathized with them. He just didn't want to be a part of the royal family. I don't understand why that was a problem, because King Charles was talking about slimming down the working royals anyhow. And he was not, as the more kids that William and Kate had, he would have been pushed further and further and further down. So I
It's
don't.
intentional.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
get it. I don't get why there's an anger. He didn't want to continue in the family business.
Mm-hmm.
So allow him to leave.
This person says here, just give it up until the third quarter of 2023, Dwight. Even ain't nobody getting rid of the monarchy until after Coronation Day. Who can give up a first-class trip to England and an audience with the king? Certainly not. And they named some people. No, I'm not going to name them. Boy, this one says here, we have to first acknowledge that having a queen or king was an involuntary decision made for us. We didn't ask for to be governed by them. They showed up and said, we are your king and queen. So it was never about a symbiotic relationship. It was always one-sided, so they can voluntarily leave, in my opinion. No, they won't. You need to do that. We have to decide. We have to decide, right? It's wonderful to list of all these countries that you are the king of. It must be quite nice. Wouldn't you like it?
I think for me, it's good being associated to a first world country. We just have to maximize the benefits that we can derive from it. Yeah, we
Which means
just
what?
400,000 people, in the Bahamas. I mean, look at what is happening with us with FTX. I mean, they're crucifying us in the public,
got nothing to do
right?
with it.
We need help. There's
Also-
nothing wrong with
oh,
needing help
so-
from a bigger power.
How will that help? How has that helped? We're always getting crucified.
The fact
What
that
difference does
we
it
have
ma-
not
This
explored
has
the
nothing to do with
benefits
it.
of that relationship, then it's on us.
There's benefits to being in the Commonwealth. There's no benefit to having the British head of state.
Okay, remember they were trying to remove the honors and have the Bohemian honors? Has that stopped?
That's because of us.
No,
because we
no.
don't even appreciate our own honors. We people want to be knighted. People
Yeah, that's
want
okay,
that.
though.
No, it's not.
Because it's
not okay.
Because it is recognized around the world.
Oh boy.
It's like our dollar. You can't go anywhere else and use it. So you can, but if you have some pounds in your pocket, you can convert it.
Since y'all love them so much, go back to pounds then. How about that?
It wasn't good economic sense. Because
Right.
our trade is
Okay.
directly with the U.S., we had to closely line
Sure,
our currency
sure.
with them.
This one says here, Dwight, having a British head of state means America cannot invade us directly like other non-British Commonwealth countries. This is absolute nonsense. Is this what we're learning in schools? We certainly don't need any more holidays. Certainly not. Let's take a break. We'll pick this up on the other side. And some interesting information. You mentioned this earlier about the representative to the monarch here. And speaking of taxes, all the money that we're paying out to governors general. Make it make sense, folks. Make it make sense.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Oh, wow. What's that under the Christmas tree? Up to $1,000 cash back for you and me? 10 lucky customers get a chance to win up to $1,000 cash back this Christmas just for spending $60 and over with their Scotiabank credit card in-store or online. That's up to $1,000 cash back to spend on gifts, gas, groceries, and more this Christmas. Visit bs.scotiabank.com for more information. Promotion ends January 28, 2023. Conditions apply.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up. Boom. I dance my cares away. Find romance every day. I wouldn't have to listen to this poor fool say I'm the king. I'm the king. I'm the king of nothing.
All right, so we're going to have to do a massive education campaign here because clearly we aren't getting it. So removing the head of state would not mean that you wouldn't be a part of the Commonwealth. It wouldn't mean that. It wouldn't mean that you kick the High Commissioner out of the country. It wouldn't mean that you'd sever ties with the United Kingdom. Well, why are we thinking that? It's just that should you have, and this is a question, ask anybody in the UK how they feel about having a foreign king, a foreign head of state. They would have they would lose their minds. Mm-hmm. They've had countless wars to prevent something like that from happening. Why are we so content with the notion?
I think
it doesn't make any sense.
I think majority of Bahamians don't really care either way.
Yeah, and that explains a lot.
I don't think a
explains
majority
a lot.
of us care either way. But I think if we're going to do an alternative, let's plan it out. What would it look like? What benefits are we deriving now? And if we were to move away from this, how would that affect us? It shouldn't be an issue to explore that and then make a decision as opposed to just wanting to end the relationship because some persons don't feel like we should continue on with such a relationship. And I think for the older crowd,
You're not truly independent if you have a foreign king. You're not. What is that?
Yes,
why do you?
We're as independent
It's-
as we could be.
Yeah, it explains the mentality of the Bahamian people as well. Because through the text message, you can see people are thinking, "Oh, they're still protecting us. They're still out there as a big brother watching over us." It's not. Please stop. Please stop. What does this crazy text mean about America would not invade? Please stop. What does that?
I think we're closer to America than we are
Of
to
course
the UK.
we are, and
are closer to
they
them, and
organized
they
that.
are- yeah.
I'll find the. They formed a treaty with the United States many decades ago, for exactly this, for the U.S. to protect many of their interests in the region. So come on now, Bahamians, we've got to wake up. We've got to wake up. This
I
is
have no
very
problems with
serious.
having the conversations. Let's talk about it. Let's look at what we have now, what will happen if we were to do it, if we were to remain. I have no problems having the conversation.
Yeah. Let's take this call, and then I want to get to the Governor General issue. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Pam again.
Good morning.
Very interesting conversation. And Dwight, yes, you're absolutely correct. The educational aspect of this should be had. I think right now, as it stands, we would like to know, what were the benefits we were getting from Great Britain pre-independence? What are we receiving now? Why is it that the misconception that, and you're absolutely correct on this as well, the misconception is even though we want to remove or it's the desire to remove the Queen or the royal family or the monarchy as the head of state of our country, does it mean that we have severed ties with Great Britain? I don't think that is necessarily the case. I mean, we have great relations with the United States, which you so eloquently stated. Our ties seem to be even closer than that with Great Britain in many aspects. But no country is really independent in the context that many of us think that we are. We are interdependent, and we depend on each other to get things done. So the educational component is very important for us to understand how countries work and how we work with each other. Thanks for taking my
Okay. Well, thanks a lot.
And if we were to decide tomorrow, do you think they'd have a problem with that?
Who? The UK?
Yeah.
They don't even know.
That you think they would try to stop us?
They would beg you to stop.
So it's us. It's
Hey,
up
please,
to
please
us.
go.
Yeah. Now, if
Please go
Canada, Australia, or New Zealand wanted to leave,
I told you. I've
they
said it
would try
before,
to hold on to them.
Perhaps. But I've told you before, when they do go, the Bahamas will be the final one. It'll be the last country. Even England would say we don't recognize the king anymore. And the Bahamas would still be there. The last realm of the,
Who knows? There may be
monarchy.
major reforms down the road.
All right. So, and this goes down, you were talking about taxes and people saying how it's unfair, how the taxes work in the country. The monarch's representative, the Governor General, what does the Governor General do, Pam?
He's the Queen representative. Or the king,
Or the
sorry,
kings,
the king.
or the
So
kings.
the king.
Uh-huh.
The king's
And what-
representative.
and then what? And what else? That's it. Okay. So we were paying a lot of money, folks. A lot of money. We've heard that before. You mentioned it earlier about the widow. And so we've got the Governor General's Pension Act here. This is a bit of it I'm going to read for you. Section 4, there shall be granted to the widow of a Governor General who dies while holding office a gratuity of an amount equal to the annual basic salary of the deceased Governor General, together with an annual pension equivalent to 3/4 of that salary, and which pension shall be payable to the widow where the Governor General dies after retirement. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary in subsection 1, the pension payable under that subsection to the widow shall A, during any period after her remarriage, be equivalent to 1/2 of the annual basic salary which the Governor General was receiving immediately before his death or his retirement. B, not be payable in respect of any period during which she holds office as Governor General. Oh, okay. So she.
So even if the widow remarries,
she still gets a little
she
bit.
still get a half of it.
Yeah, boy.
Until she dies.
Yes. Any reference to a widow includes a widower. Okay. Yes. Okay, it does say that. Then there's Section 5, 1, where a person dies while he is Governor General or while he is entitled to receive the Governor General's pension, leaving one or more entitled children. A children's allowance shall be payable in respect of such child or children. 2, only one children's allowance is payable in respect of the service of the deceased Governor General, but A, the rate thereof may vary according to the number of children entitled thereto. So, however, that the aggregate rate of allowance payable should not exceed the rate specified in subsection 3A.
Now you need a lawyer. You need a lawyer to interpret that.
Or B, it shall be paid to such person or persons as the Prime Minister may from time to time direct.
Okay, see, now that's important.
Oh, boy.
Because you remember, because what I had heard was that, the child received 75%. And when that child died, their oldest child received 50, and then it goes on. When their child died, it was 25%. So it's important because the Prime Minister has this discretion to do certain. And so there may be some policies behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course,
governing.
as we know, Prime Minister in the Bahamas equals king too. Because I got as much. Anyway, as the Prime Minister may from time, you might as well call them king. The amount of power a Prime Minister has.
King for 5 years. Or less if you call it election early.
At least we get to deal with that king, unlike the other ones. And C, the person to whom all or any part thereof is paid shall apply the sum paid to him without distinction for the benefit of all the children for the time being entitled thereto, or for the benefit of such of them as the Prime Minister may from time to time direct. Section 3, where the deceased Governor General leaves a widow, the annual rate of the children's allowance during her lifetime shall be A, 1/3 of the rate of the pension mentioned in Section 2, Part 1B, where there are 2 or more children entitled to the children's allowance. B, 1/6 of the rate of such pension where there is only one child entitled to the children's allowance. Oh, my goodness. And then 4, where the deceased Governor General leaves no widow, or where he leaves a widow, then after her death, or after any pension payable to her ceases to be paid before the death, the annual rate of the children's allowance shall be A, 1/2 of the rate of the pension mentioned in subsection 2, 1B, where there are 2 or more children entitled to the children's allowance. B, 1/4 of the rate of such pension where there's only one child entitled to the children's allowance. And 5, in the section entitled children means persons who have not attained the age of 18 years and who are unmarried. Okay. And we have had, including the current, 10 governors general. It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing. I think there should be some type of standard on the amount of governor general over the period. So we know what happens is when a party, because we've been changing governments administrations every 5 years, they bring their governor general in. And so then we have a lot of governor generals. And so just think about all these funds being paid. Yeah. And it just, it all adds up, and then you look at it, that's why we can't shake our expenditure. It's like there's not much in terms of wiggle room in order to cut here or cut there because the funds are just being paid out to issues in
like that,
sections like this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is what we're talking about when we say tightening the belt, right? Really looking at how we are spending money in the country.
It's difficult
sensibly.
to do it. It's difficult to do it. Now, you can say from this point on, we're going to change it.
Yeah.
You could allow those who are benefiting now to continue to benefit until they move off the scene. But from this point on, the question is, do we have the will to do that?
Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we're going to be talking with businesses on Village Road about the challenges they've been seeing over the past few months and the way forward. That's all coming up right after this. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, January 9th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. And this morning we are talking with business owners on Village Road. It's been a challenging past few months for them with all the road work that's going on with the Village Road Improvement Project. And it was supposed to have been wrapped up by now, but the latest we're hearing is January, although if you've driven nearby, it doesn't seem like that's going to be, still a whole lot more work to do. But joining us this morning in studio, very pleased to welcome to the show. He called in a few weeks ago, but he's in studio with us now from Four Walls Squash and Social Club, Mike Fields. Also in studio from Tropical Nursery, we have Steffi Bethel. And joining us on the Zoom line, we've got from the Tipsy Bar, Alicia Puppy Burrows, and we're expecting Andrew Burrows with TCBY to be joining us as well. But anyway, good morning to everybody. Great to have you with us.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so as we said, it looks like there's still a lot of work to do, even though they've told us that January would be the end of the paving. Still have a few weeks in January, but I don't know. From what you've seen, how does it look to you?
I mean, we are just about to the end of January, let's face it, or at least to the middle, okay? And just as recent as yesterday, they were still trenching. Mm-hmm. So I stopped actually, and I said, guys, you're going in the wrong direction. You should be filling the hole and not digging a hole. But there's still a lot of open trenches. They're still creating new trenches. They're working. There's no doubt about it. But again, I'm not an expert, but I'll be pleasantly surprised if January is the date.
Yeah, wow. All right, so Mike, you called in a few weeks ago when we had the engineer on, the chief engineer on, and you voiced your concerns then about all of you forming an association about this. So for those who aren't familiar, tell us about that and why that was necessary, that everybody came together.
Sure. In February of this year, right after COVID, I think it was a month or so after the orders expired and businesses were allowed to open up, and you could we all went through that, so we know what we went through. They walked in and said, "Hey, we are going to be shutting down the road for a year or renovating the road for a year." Actually, the original date was September 2022. We looked at it and we knew the road had to be done.
It's been in a bad state for a while.
It's been in a bad state for a while. I heard that successive governments really avoided the situation because it was so bad. It was some major infrastructure work that goes way beyond Village Road that will eventually support Paradise Island, okay? Major electrical work that needed to be done. And the water mains in that area were totally gone. So we knew it had to be done. And the timing would not have been that bad. It's bad, but not that bad. If they lived up to the promise. And you added another month. I said, okay, September, that's the slowest month. August is not that great. Summer is fairly slow for businesses. School's out, right? We said, okay, we'll bite the bullet. And we cooperated as much as we could. And if they needed to, park the vehicles wherever they could, we let them park. And we were quite cooperative. And then September came. And I want to point out to everybody, because I've seen some comments online, hey, let the government finish. September came, and they said, okay, October. October came, and they said November. And they said then December 12th.
Right.
Right? And December 12th came, and we're still in that situation. And around that time, that is the time when we approached all the other businesses. We said, hey, and it's been a learning experience for us. It's so many businesses on Village Road. And I guess we were just in our box. And as I said, I went to school with Steffi's father, and I never met her. Okay? And it's so great to see you. But the point is, we reached a point where we can't take anymore.
Right.
And we can't take any more promises. We need to know the deadline of this thing, because we're trying to keep our people employed.
Does it feel like a game? Because how would you not know, if you're engineers, that this will take 2 months or 3 months to say September, and then October, and then November, and then December, and then January, and you look at the road and you know it's not going to be done until September, which the minister accidentally, but probably, it's the case, September of this year. Does it feel like a game that they cannot give you a firm time? And are they communicating with you on a regular basis to let you know the status and why there's so much delays?
Well, one of the things we're asking for, and there has been some communication, no doubt about it, but it hasn't been timely. But we're asking for a liaison, an official liaison, and Aubryon, everybody knows him in the area. He's done a great job of going out to all the businesses. But he's an engineer, and I'm sure his focus, and he loses sleep over engineering issues. There's no public liaison officer that will give you updates on a regular basis. Hey guys, we hit a water main, and it's going to give us a 2-day delay or something. That's totally absent. Regarding your first question, is it a game? I'd say no. But when you make an estimate and you're 8 months out, you expect 20%. You may miss, you may be plus or minus 20%. When you make an estimate and you're near the end, you should be very accurate. So I'm bewildered of why you're almost to the end of the project and you still can't come up with a great estimate. It makes no sense to me.
My goodness. Puppy and Steffi, so how much of an impact has it had? What has this last year been like for you?
Well, it's been a struggle, especially
Talk right into that mic there first.
After COVID. We had, the government had acquired a portion of our parking lot, and that reduced our parking lot by a lot. So our customers have been complaining about that. And then when they were working in front of our parking lot, no one wanted to come in. And then after that, people would call and be like, so how do I get to you? And then we would have to figure out which ways would be the easiest to get to our store. I mean, we've seen about a 30% decline in our sales.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we're just hoping for the best and hoping they finish soon so we can just get back to normal. I don't know, it's been a very, a real struggle. And, they just don't, I don't know, I feel like I constantly see the same holes being dug up 3 times. And it just seems like it's not getting, it's getting there, but very slowly. It's I don't know how to explain, on Christmas Eve, they had this whole time to drill for a well. They drilled for it, left the hole open, and they just decided to put the well there on Christmas Eve, blocking my entrance.
My goodness.
So it's been, I don't know, it's hard to it seems like it's getting worse to communicate with them now. We've tried to call people voicing our concerns, please don't block our entrance on Christmas Eve. No one would pick up their phone. So I'm just letting it go now. They just need to finish and let it be.
Wow.
This to me seems like the Ingram roadworks in 2012. I remember when they did those roadworks and people complained about how it was such an inconvenience for businesses. Do you think this is a planning issue?
I think it is. So by law, they're supposed to state a notice on our property for a letter of acquisition, which they never did. I was told at the beginning they were only going to take our front planter, and then throughout the project, the property that they're supposed to acquire grew in size. So they took almost half of our parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Puppy, what about you? What impact has it had on your business?
So, of course, I'm going to echo all of my neighbors. But honestly, in the beginning, it seemed like it had some sort of structure. We were able to work around certain areas because they did start on the north side and they would close in and then open another. And so you were able to work around it. But in the last, I want to say 5 months, it's been straight from north to south. So it's very hard to navigate. And being an entertainment business operating mostly in the evenings through the night, it's been very challenging because sometimes they would close without notice, and just like Steffi said, I would have customers calling, hey, so how do I get to you? So that has been the most challenging, and we've actually had to close since December
Yeah. And Mike,
or November.
you're in a similar boat. I mean, sports, entertainment.
Correct.
So what?
You're talking about discretionary
Yeah.
income and
Yeah.
something that people would avoid.
Right.
And we're a fairly new business. And we took over just before COVID, so we've been in a hot seat ever since. And people will find another place to go out of convenience. And when you lose that person, and they change their patterns. And that's why when we get to some of the concessions, we'll talk about that. When they change their patterns, it's difficult to bring them back. It's not like, I'm going to open up this road, or I'm going to go back to Four Walls. They find another home, or they just get into another habit. So it's been really tough on our business. And we've seen 35% at least on average drop in business, which is unheard of.
You're right about that.
Has the government reached out to the businesses in terms of concession? Like knowing that this is difficult and this has affected your bottom line, to some form of concession?
It's more like you had to reach out to them.
Yeah, we reached out to the government, and I want to be clear, it was not nobody, at least as far as I know, we haven't had individual complaints about we had major power issues and phone line issues of the area, the complex opposite us. The Village Road Professional Center, they didn't have phone for months or close to months. I was informed. They had to use a cell phone. So there was individual
Because
problems.
lines were damaged during the process. Right.
So there was individual problems. But in terms of the concessions, we didn't really start this discussion until the deadline was missed by 3 months, right? So I think the businesses were trying to cooperate and suck it up and do what we could. But at one point, and I think the PM in a recent interview said, when there's gross inconvenience. I think we are way into that point of gross inconvenience. And yes, they have been responsive to our letters and emails. We've heard from Minister Halkitis. We have a meeting with the minister or ministers on the 16th. And we've definitely heard from Minister Sears. And so they have been responsive. And it seems that what we've seen, the government is open to concessions. There has been some precedent. You mentioned the Blue Hill Road, for example. I think it was the Coconut Grove Association.
Right.
But there was also other businesses on Prince Charles, and I've been actually calling around. There was another business located in the area of Village Road when the first half of that went out of business. They got other concessions, which we'll talk about as well. But so there's precedent. We believe that businesses will need stimulus, especially new businesses or very vulnerable businesses due to the nature, to get back on track. Else, to be quite frank, some more businesses will close. And there has been a pet grooming company that's closed. There's been a food vendor that has closed. Poppy's on the line. I think she's closed. And there'll be more. And if each business, you're talking about a trickle-on effect. They hire people, so that's somebody out of a job, and that's somebody who can't feed their kids. That's somebody who's on the street. My belief is, that governments, the whole role of governments is to create an environment where you could generate economic activity, not to go and kill businesses.
And prosperity.
And that's
citizenry.
How many came together with this? And have you formed an association?
Not
or
officially,
nothing?
no. It's
Okay.
just we're cooperating. Okay, and
Mhm.
so far I think it was 15 or 16, 16 up to 16 businesses, and to be quite frank, there'll probably be more. I just have to find the time to hit the streets and go and call. But for example, we've gotten a lot of cooperation from the center right across from us, the Village Road Professional Center, and that's 10 businesses, which we have to go in and talk to individually. The owners have fully cooperated with us, but it's amazing how many businesses on Village Road. It's just an eye-opener, and they're all struggling.
And you want ongoing concessions. Let's just say they're done this by March.
Right.
You want your concession to be beyond March.
Yeah, definitely, and really now it's not. Hey, we're not asking, and we're going to talk about the concessions now. Sure, we're not asking for a pot of gold. Okay, we realize that roads have to be improved. Everybody has to do their share, but when it gets to the point of gross inconvenience, we need stimulus. We need a lifeline in some cases where we could get back on track. And the plan, and which I don't want to go into details, is more towards government incentives and taxes, and more importantly, a marketing campaign. Yeah. Just on your show this morning, you said the Village Road area is backed up with traffic. Please avoid if you can. Right? How many listeners you got? You told us to avoid the area, which I agree with.
Right.
Which I agree with.
Every day we've been saying it's happening.
Right. So, as much effort, and the government has had a website, they've had numerous marketing campaigns. Avoid Village Road.
Yeah.
So we want a marketing campaign sponsored by the government to say, come back. This is what's at Village Road.
All right. So let's go into it a little bit. You don't want to give too much, but what generally did you have in mind? It's more than money?
Yes.
Right.
Access to some funding for repairs, because let's look at the different categories of people. Because again, I haven't called every person on Village Road, but there are more than businesses here. There are homes, people live there. Okay, and all those diversions and tractors going through people's yards. The dust is unbelievable. So just about every business that is adjacent or in that area is going to have to, and resident, is going to have to do something. So you have the residents, you have businesses, small and large businesses, and you have some businesses rent from landlords, okay? And those landlords are going to have to repair their buildings, okay? So we'll be looking at the concessions to target each type of person that's impacted. So maybe property tax concessions for landowners and business owners, so they can use those property taxes to then pump back into properties to bring back. That's not unheard of, and that's not unreasonable. Right. They do it today. We're talking about business license concessions for businesses to get over this hump when it's very expensive for businesses. We lost December. That's the best month for most businesses, right? Yeah. That take you through the year. We're looking at other concessions such as access to, and it was done before, a loan grant program, not just pure loan, but it's a grant and a loan. So the previous model, and again we're exploring it, was if you borrow $10,000, you can get also another $10,000 that you don't have to pay back at low interest rates. Those kind of things to stimulate businesses to get back on their feet.
Yeah. So what has been the response? We know the Minister of Works did speak to you all, and I think in the paper last week you said that Minister Halkitis, Economic Development also.
Correct. As I said, what he said publicly and privately is that they're open to it, and they're certainly willing to do it.
Open to it.
Correct. He didn't say, where to sign.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm hoping after the meeting we could get something firm. And that's why we're meeting. And we're going to present our proposal. It's going to be reasonable, okay? It's not going to be, hey, we're greedy, give us a pot of gold. Even though, losing property, that's another side of it, okay? And obviously there should be compensation for that. Yeah. You can't just take somebody's property. But in general, it's going to be reasonable and affordable. we think for the government. We're not going to ask for, $1 million of business, but I think it should be proportional to the size of the business. And so we're working out various formulas right now to propose to the government, but something that's palatable. They don't have to come up with $1 billion to refund it, but something that will stimulate it and bring back Village Road.
All right, so any of you can answer this. I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but let's just say that they say we can't do anything. We wish we could. We've got so much going on, and so many people are asking for us to do something for them. Sorry. What happens in that worst case scenario when they tell you there's nothing left in the tin?
Well, we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep pushing, and to be quite frank, some businesses will close. I'll be honest, and people will lose their jobs. And if that's what the government would say, then my question back to government is that good governance?
But I think they should. I don't think it's difficult to see where they can provide the assistance. And like you said, there's precedent that has been set for some of these concessions. I mean, we pay for the hotel's marketing bill to the tune of, I think, about $10 million or so dollars. So that should be a small amount or proportion to help you with your marketing. So there's precedent out there. And I think they should, if they realize that this road works, they probably intended it to be done within the time frame, but it hasn't been done, and it has inconvenienced businesses. And I think that's what government is about. Helping its citizen be to prosper and to yield economic success.
And is that good governance? And some of the delay, and I don't want to I'm going to turn it over, but some of the delay, I think the minister said was, hey, they're finding pipes and things like that and infrastructure they didn't know was there. I put it to you, if you make a mistake 50 years ago, and you let 50 years pass, is there a statute of limitations on mistakes? Mm-hmm. So my question is, who put the pipe there? Mm-hmm. Right? Second question, did the pipe move? Third question, did we have paper and architects and engineers in the 70s? Right? So whose fault is it that pipe was not properly marked?
Yeah.
Right? Or the records weren't kept. So why would you use a mistake in the past as for us to forgive you for your own mistake? Right? So I think, our arguments are compelling. The government could say no. I'd find it really unimaginable that with a reasonable request and wanting to help businesses and help the general economy that they would, to be quite frank. Mm-hmm. I'll be very surprised.
Yeah. Poppy, you're closed. This is a temporary thing, or are you having... This is a long-term thing now. What's happening with your company, the Tipsy Bar?
Well, in November, we had issued a notice that we would remain closed until either the roadworks had improved or until the new year. But unfortunately, with some of the complaints, people literally avoid Village Road, so there was no real reason to stay open. So we are going to stay closed probably until it's complete, because there's no, we pump out more money being open with no foot traffic than anything else. Luckily, we do have a mobile aspect to the business, so we've been able to sustain ourselves based on that. But to say reopen on Village Road while this is going on, it's frankly impossible. Yeah. And to piggyback off of the support from the government. There's been so many examples of this happening before. Look at the Blue Hill roadworks. There's so many examples of what should and could have been done better that I don't see a reason that we won't get support from the government in the long term.
Yeah. Well,
and also one other point. Mm-hmm. We believe whatever model we come up with, or with the government, should be used as a model and plan in the budgets of any road work. The businesses shouldn't have to come up. There should be part of that budget allocated to say, okay, we'll stimulate the businesses in the area. It should be really the status quo.
Right. Yeah, and we've got a lot more coming from what we were told, right? Glassner Road might be next.
Correct.
So, boy. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're getting some good text messages. You can call in as well as we talk with Village Road business owners on the impact the Village Road Improvement Project is having on their livelihoods. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
The new Guardian Radio app is here. Listen live to all our Guardian Radio shows and live video stream select programs in our studio. Get information about Guardian Radio shows and our hosts. Send messages, including text, email, and even call. All from our amazing new Guardian Radio app. Download it free today in your App Store for your Apple device or Play Store for your Android device. The all-new and improved Guardian Radio app.
Tokyo is calling, and your Scotiabank MasterCard could take you there. For every transaction valued $100 or more with your Scotiabank MasterCard, you receive a digital entry for a chance to win a priceless experience for two in Tokyo, Japan. Online or overseas transactions will double your chance to win. Promotion valid from December 16th, 2022 to January 13th, 2023. Conditions apply. For more information, visit bs.scotiabank.com.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Tokyo is calling, and your Scotiabank MasterCard could take you there. For every transaction valued $100 or more with your Scotiabank MasterCard, you receive a digital entry for a chance to win a priceless experience for two in Tokyo, Japan. Online or overseas transactions will double your chance to win. Promotion valid from December 16th, 2022 to January 13th, 2023. Conditions apply. For more information, visit bs.scotiabank.com.
Welcome back to Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. We are talking with business owners in the Village Road area who've been dealing with the Village Road Improvement Project over these past few months, almost a year now. Yeah. And of course, it's had a major impact on their businesses. We've got Mike Fields with Four Wall Squash and Social Club. We've got Steffi Bethel with Tropical Nursery and Alicia Puppy Burrows with Tipsy Bar. And it's been a rough time for them. You can call us with your questions or concerns, 325-4316. 325-4316, 323-6232, or 325-4259. Or text us, 422-4796. You can tweet or Facebook us as well. This texter says, I sympathize with the Village Road businesses. The central bank is shutting down several small check printing companies. Yikes. When they eliminate checks at the end of the year, probably 30 jobs will be eliminated there. They all just don't think about the effects of these decisions. Well, I mean, again, you said it earlier that Village Road needed work. And
yes,
but you didn't expect it to drag on this long.
Yeah. Correct. It's not the job that had to be done. It's the efficiency in which they do the job, and there has to be accountability for inefficiency. Mm-hmm. And you can't say you're efficient if you miss your deadline by 6 months,
right?
And don't know when the new deadline is.
Yeah.
Period. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think about myself. I used to travel on Village Road very frequently. I think in the past year, I've been on it twice, maybe 3 times. I've been to Tropical, and I went to Jollification.
You have to come to Four Walls when you come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I'm mad.
But not even Jollification. Yes, I'll have to come there to embarrass myself. But yeah. So it's been, and you're right. Will you, now that you found other routes, will you come back?
And that's why we want the promotional program to get people back. It's not road open now, and people will just come back and it'll be 100%. And we believe with the stimulus package and maybe the promotional package, and one of the things we also going to propose is a VAT-free zone for a certain period of time, where people could just come back and enjoy it. And there's so much to offer on Village Road. I don't want to be all negative. There's just a lot, and I'm discovering it as well.
Yeah.
You can get everything done. It's a great area. It'd even be better with the improved roads. I agree. But we want people to come back and enjoy all what Village Road has to have.
Oh, Puppy, I think I was at Tipsy Bar last year for Chester's birthday, right? Yeah, that was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that it has been successive governments are anti-domestic businesses. Like if it's a foreign business, I don't know. They look probably at in the case of the hotels, they look at the room tax or with the cruise ship. They look at the tax that the cruise ship pay or the stamp tax that foreign businesses pay, and they look at that. The government look at that directly as revenue going directly into their pocket, and so they kind of like bend backwards to try to assist these businesses. And then when it comes to domestic businesses, they tend to like to be anti-business, like to put burden on businesses. Like I read in the Tribune, I don't know if it's true, that now a business need to make sure that its landlord pays their real property tax in order for them to get their license. So I just think it's just, while every administration starts so that we're going to improve ease of doing business, and then they do the counter. So I think there needs to be more people maybe in government that are business minded, because sometimes when you have the technocrats that have no experience with doing a business, just sitting behind a desk and just trying to find ways to get more and more and more revenue, they don't look at the total picture, and they implement policies that's to the detriment of businesses, and it hurts the economy overall. Because, you know, a former central bank governor told me, you look at our economy as a pie chart, and you have domestic businesses, foreign direct business, and then you have tourism. And you have to maximize all of those areas if the Bahamas is going to prosper. You cannot just focus on the foreign direct type of businesses and tourism and exclude domestic business and think you're going to prosper. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that was well put. The key to any economy, is small business. Now, people pay attention to the big businesses because it's kind of easy and they make the most noise. And, you know, I helped IBM. That's great, right? But it's the small business. When small businesses go, the economy goes. And then there's, to be quite frank, we, as Bahamians, believe that once a person owns a business, they got it made in the shade.
Right. I was going to say that.
Which is just the opposite. I don't have the statistics, but I think about 70% of small businesses fail. Fail. And I'm talking about lose your house, lose your car, lose your, all your possessions because you tried to set up a business and do better for yourself. And it seems the sentiment out there is against small business, and I don't. That has to change. You know, the small businesses help the economy.
Yeah.
We're not the enemy. We're not, trying to make a mint. We're trying to make a living, and there has to be some consideration for that.
Yeah, like for small businesses, it doesn't get easier every year. Property tax has increased. We have
Right.
to pay business license. When we bring in stuff, freight has increased. It's just all that comes together, and it just doesn't get easier. And then with the roadworks, it makes it way harder.
Right.
And when government, I think in the last administration, they waived like $23 million for Albany. When government is giving concessions for these big businesses because they said you hire. So, okay, you may have hired 1,000 people, but when you add up the various small businesses, they hired 10,000
Exactly.
persons. So,
Exactly.
it's just a disconnect.
Yeah.
Big disconnect.
Big problem. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
A pleasant good morning, Dwight. How you doing, sir?
Doing well.
And to your guest. You know, what bugs me so often is how we continue to do the same thing over and over, no matter who we jump up and dance with and put in government. I wonder, this island is less than 21/7 now. When I was a youngster growing up, I heard it was 21/7. I believe that. But with all the new gated communities cutting off this bunch of acreage, that bunch of acreage, we got to be less than 21/7 now. And all of us are piled up in the middle of this little island, one of the smallest islands in this country. And everybody, because of hard times in the outer islands, are flocking to New Providence for many reasons, for better jobs, for education, for just to live, just to get off some of them islands where nothing happening. And I wonder that our political leaders, both 3, 4 different parties, if they live on the same island that we live on, do they drive the same roads that we drive, or do they get to and from work by way of a helicopter? Because I know the Prime Minister drives on the same road we drive on, man. He got to go someplace right Wolf Road. And I know when they finish with Village Road, they got to have to, one day or the other, they got to have to fix Montreal Avenue. They have to fix Rosetta Street. They have to fix Mount Madera Street. They have to finish the bottom of East Street. And apart from all of these underground, old galvanized pipes, what eventually going to have to change, like Wolf Road, you have these adjoining side corners where the majority of the businesses are, whether or not on Main Street, where the real pop and mom shops are, and where the residents live. So when are they going to get things done? Because New Providence itself was never a planned city. It grows up piece. We'll do this week, or we do something next week. And when are we going to get these major thoroughfares done? What do you think would happen if they had to fix Wolf Road? After they finish Village Road, they say, oh, wait, we're going from Bernard Road down to St. Barnabas. We're going to have to dig up and change the pipes on Wolf Road. Imagine the backup around the entire island. And we, like I said before, we all live on this island. The politician, the bishop of the Catholic and Anglican Church, all of us have to transfer these streets.
Yeah.
And nothing seems to be done. No matter who comes into power, it's the same thing all over again. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sparky. Yeah. Big challenges there. All right, so I want to go back to an issue you mentioned, the liaison. How much of a difference do you think that would make? And is that still something you need at this late stage, the final leg of this project?
Again, I'm sure there's going to be somebody appointed as official liaison to give us more updated information. One of the most painful things is not knowing.
Yeah. Right?
I like roller coasters. The scariest roller coaster to me is Space Mountain. You know why? It's in the dark. You don't know what's coming next, right? So a public liaison officer would help. I don't think it's a big ask. At least in bringing more updated information, giving us a heads up. You don't have trenching in front of your property. The same day, your peak day in front of TCBY, for example, yesterday. That's their best day.
Right.
That's the day we're going to do trench.
Think about these things.
Right? Yeah. So that kills a business that's struggling. And so, so you have that two-way communication. Communication never hurts. Never hurts.
My goodness. Let's take another call, and then we've got an interesting text here. But let's take the call first. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning to you, Dwight and Pamela, and your guests in
morning.
the studio and remotely, C. Alan Johnson, critical thinker. And Dwight, believe it or not, right, I'm a technology advocate, and what we're having here is a lack of technology, embracing technology. 23 years into at least 22 years into the 21st century. Let's use the road as an example. Technology has existed for decades now to allow them to map underground. Just like how you go and map your body with an MRI or something else of that sort, they can see everything underground for dozens of feet underground. The problem is that we have not embraced the technology in spite of the fact that we have encountered these exact same problems in other roadworks. To simply say, let's map the underground structure for what we're doing. Let's talk about the impact on small businesses. We lack, in some places, the data exists in silos, but to be able to have the real-time data analysis of the impact of small businesses, and more specifically, exactly based on the information they should have on all of the businesses in that particular area, the demographics of the homeowners, all of those things, it's a simple data analysis script to go across the data. And so we keep talking about the 21st century, improving this, because you can actually even utilize them going forward. We talk about the promotions and marketing of those particular businesses. We should have the data to basically target very specific people to even get them to go back and revisit this based on parameters, parameters around them, use of it. It's like, we're in the area so enriched. In fact, 2023 is the beginning of the knowledge economy. And that's where those who manage information, knowledge is the proper comprehension and use of information. And so we just have to begin to rethink so that we can grow this economy, impact small businesses, and even bring equity between the foreign and localized business. I'm just simply saying, this is simple. I've been saying it for 2 decades. Technology simplifies everything.
Well, it should. It should. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But we'll see. We don't look like we learn lessons, right? As you mentioned all these streets before, Prince Charles, Blue Hill Road, and here we are again.
Well, let me add something to that as well. How do you maintain an electrical infrastructure if you don't know where your lines are? Forgetting the roadworks, right?
Yeah.
So when something goes wrong, you then have to discover something you don't know where it is. Yeah. So this should be done, and we should know where stuff is. Period. There's no excuse.
This texter, I think this is an unfair texter. I don't know, but let's see what our guests say about it. They're saying businesses need to have a backup plan. We are a very disaster-prone location. Also, real world is that disasters can happen at any time. We must be proactive and plan ahead. Many businesses failed during and after COVID because there was no backup plan. We also have to be proactive as business owners.
Hey, I like to stir the pot. I love it.
Okay, Mike.
So I love it. Okay. I have a technical background, right? And part of setting up any infrastructure is called you don't want to have a single point of failure, a backup plan. Okay. So we don't take cash. We're cashless at the four walls. So we have BPL. We have two sources of internet. We have both cable Bahamas and BTC. We switch over almost automatically. We have a small backup generator, all we could afford, so we can run that generator. We have a backup credit card machine with a different bank, right? So that we could process transactions, okay? And we have several layers of backups. But
you forgot the backup overhead pass road that people can drive.
Correct.
Apparently, that's what you forgot.
Our problem was
we didn't think about the backup to government.
Which we didn't think about is Scotty always has problems with that transporter,
right?
And people have to actually drive to our business.
Oh boy,
right? So we'll put one in place next time and talk to Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah, Texter. I don't know. I mean, there's only so much you can do when it comes to the infrastructure of the island, right?
Correct.
And should we be responsible for that on our own? The individuals, the businesses, the residents.
Correct.
That might be better actually, but that's not how it works. So I don't know. One final call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Dwight.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Good morning.
I think probably y'all are doing well, but I don't think it's basically the right answer. It's the company that these government hire. Believe me. I've seen tourism building was refurbishing downtown for like almost 16 years. And this company with doing the road now, this ain't the first rodeo with this company. So it really is the company, because it's political, they just hire their people. And these people, I hear you ask them one time if they was working in the night, and they tell you, yeah, and that was no truth, because I passed here many times, nobody working. And if you want to get something done, you work 24 hours, but they know when they run out of money, they can always call for more money. And I think that's where the problem is. They squeeze the government for more and more money, including government house.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have they been working tonight? Do you see the...
Well, at the beginning, I think it was they'd work for a couple days and then you wouldn't see them for another couple days. It wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be working maybe a full day or a full night. Sometimes you don't see them at all. Just like with my parking lot, they dug up this huge trench, left it open for 3 weeks, and then came in and finally built my wall. Like any of my customers could have easily fallen in the trench backing up because how small it is now. But it's just things like that. Like they open a trench, they don't complete it, they leave it for a couple weeks, move on to something else. There's no completion. Like they can't just complete anything.
I don't know if you're able to say, but are you in talks with government about the siege of part of your parking lot?
Well, I was told, so on the plan, they took a lot more than what is said on the plan. So I was told that I had to hire a surveyor to get I have to pay for the surveyor to get the right amount that they actually took from us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Are you getting your lawyers? You get your lawyers involved.
We actually, me and my neighbor, we actually both, because they also got property taken away from them, we actually both joined together to hire a lawyer. And then it was just too much headaches with dealing with the government. So we were like, we're really taking more money out of our pocket and we're just getting nowhere.
Yeah. My goodness. All right, we have just a little over a minute. Your final words here. I know you're waiting for the meeting. You're optimistic about what's going to come out of that meeting. But what message you want to say to people out there listening?
It's like there are many small businesses. We're struggling. We know the roadworks will be finished hopefully soon, and just want to invite everybody to come back to Village Road and see what's all there to offer, and pray with us that we get over this, because it's a really difficult time for businesses.
Yeah, I do hope that it's all worth it in the end. And I do believe that we're going to have to come together as neighbors to really market our businesses. For me, it's going to be starting from scratch. So I do hope that in the end it is worth the wait.
My goodness. Alicia Puppy Burrows with Tipsy Bar, and Steffi Bethel with Tropical Nursery, and Mike Fields with Four Walls Squash and Social Club. Thank you so much. Good luck to you all. And I'm sure we'll be following and keep us posted. But thank you very much for being here this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
When the road's finished, maybe we can come out there and do the show from Village Road.
That'd be great.
Yeah?
That'd be great.
Sounds good. We're going to take a quick break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Tokyo is calling, and your Scotiabank MasterCard could take you there. For every transaction valued $100 or more with your Scotiabank MasterCard, you receive a digital entry for a chance to win a priceless experience for two in Tokyo, Japan. Online or overseas transactions will double your chance to win. Promotion valid from December 16th, 2022 to January 13th, 2023. Conditions apply. For more information, visit bs.scotiabank.com.
And it's time for your morning business report, citing a number of worrisome actions taken by the government in respect to the reconstruction of the Grand Bahama International Airport. Opposition leader Michael Pintard is casting doubt on the government's projection to have a completed airport by early 2025. Last week, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper said the government was in the final stage of negotiations with a consortium of Bahamians and a world-class international airport operator who's been chosen as the winning bidder for the development of the airport. Pintard says that while the F&M is hopeful the government can meet its own targets, projected timelines don't seem tenable. And Arawak X is preparing to expand into the Caribbean, list international bonds, and even assist businesses in Haiti. The company's chairman and CEO, DRC Ramming Sr., explaining in a press statement yesterday that the company has also presented a solution to assist businesses in Haiti to members of the CARICOM community who are reviewing the proposal. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, your market movers, Cable Bahamas moving 1,900 shares, down 24 cents, closing at 426. Commonwealth Bank moving 100, closing unchanged at 358. Commonwealth Brewery moving 55, closing at 1025 unchanged. Focall moving 20,000, closing at 398 unchanged. Consolidated Water down 1 cent to 286, and Emira Incorporated down 32 cents to 921. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,645.25, down 4.35. That's your Market Watch, and that's your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight for an all-new CFAL Talks on the topic, is price control even relevant? That's 6:30 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. And Pam, that's going to do it for us this morning. There is a severe weather warning in effect. Again, it's been extended to 11:40 a.m. That thunderstorm warning in effect now for Bimini, Abaco, and Eleuthera. So keep that in mind.